My name is Eddie Opara. I am a partner at Pentagram. Pentagram is the largest independently owned design company in the world. To explain, we are actually not owned by any advertising conglomerate at all. We are fully independent, and we focus our attention on brands, large brands such as Microsoft and Citibank, all the way down to non-profits. We are globally based, and I want to sort of explain a couple of things about the reason why I'm here today. So, one day I got a call from MIT, and a gentleman named Carlo Ratti, who runs the Sensible Cities Lab at MIT. And I've met Carlo at a conference in South Africa called Design Indaba, which is actually the largest creative conference in the world. And he had a proposition for me. He said that he was building something which is really great and amazing, and he was getting some great funders behind it, but he needed my help. And I have a slight specialty. I deal with data visualization. And he wanted me to help him create a more interesting social interaction with robots and data visualization. But there was one thing that was really interesting, is that these robots that were given to him by Coca-Cola were actually robots that were going to make cocktails for everyone. And that sounds really strange, but that's what it is. The whole process and program was called Maker Shaker. And the whole idea of Maker Shaker was to explore the dynamics of social creation and consumption. And so what that means is that users like yourselves would use mobile applications to make drinks. So make particular cocktails. So you add your ingredients, you'll muddle your ingredients, you'll add a garnish, and you'll send it to a robot to actually get it made. But there's another issue about this, is that what they wanted to do is measure the aspects of what types of drinks were made, what new drinks were created, and also create some type of cohesion of social interaction between other people in regards to consumption. So the idea of Coca-Cola and also another company such as Bacardi could actually look at the metrics and understand what types of new drinks could actually be developed from this particular structure. So this is the sort of brand that we created for them. And we actually did all of this in about 30 days. And the whole process of the design was that we had to deal with the aspects of the visualization, building the applications that talk to the robots that actually had never been talked to before by a mobile app. And then what happens is the robot would actually make that particular drink, and then the user would enjoy it. So, as I stated before, Coca-Cola was a large sponsor on this particular program, and they wanted to understand what the metrics were, and so was Bacardi. So, this is a sort of wireframe of the robots themselves and actually the staging system that we had, and I'll show you better pictures in a minute. But we had to, within 30 days, come up with this particular solution to visualize this whole process. And we did. We came up with multiple options for MIT. And then this is the app that we actually designed and built from scratch to actually talk to the robots. And as you can see, on the far right-hand side, we're actually looking at the sort of metrics of relationships of the types of drinks that people are actually making. This is one of the screens. This is actually a large screen that will actually go behind the particular robots that actually were making the actual drinks. And from the left all the way down to the right, it's a structure where if you make your drink, you go into a queuing system, and then it follows you along as the robot's actually making your drink. You're put into a particular mini queue, then you can actually see what the ingredients are, so you can see if they're correct or not. And then on the far-hand side, on the right-hand side, it actually starts to collate the information and create relationships. So these are, we looked at different design iterations to sort of develop how it would work. We also needed to integrate Facebook into this particular structure for the first run, which we actually did very successfully. So what would happen is it would take your user set, your profile from Facebook, upload it into the system, and run it all the way through the process. These are sort of larger screens that we sort of developed for it. So we also wanted to create a sort of a more fluid structure, a very more dynamic approach. Instead of it being all static, we wanted everything to be incredibly dynamic and fluid in regards to the screens in the background. And so this is an area where you're sort of about to pick up your drink, and it's actually adding the ingredients, so it's over the course of time, as the robots would do. And so when it's done, it will actually tell you that it's done, and then you can actually pick up your drink. So this is actually the interface that we actually created for this enormous sort of screen in the background, and it worked incredibly well. We didn't only do it for Milan Design Week, we also did it for Google I/O, the large conference in San Francisco. And we had to retrofit it again for Google's process. So this is one of the KUKA robot's arms. This is the KUKA robot. If nobody's ever seen one, they're actually they're quite big. They use them for production reasons. And there were actually 3 of them in total. And this is a picture of the robots actually making the drinks. And then this is this is actually at the Milan Design Week. This is the stage. And so in a sense, you could see it as a performance, but again, it creates this amazing physical social interaction and also virtual social interaction. So at Google I/O, we did the same thing, but we had to readjust a couple of things. We couldn't use Facebook, of course. And what they wanted to do was allow the different stewards to actually register the drink. So you would actually crowd around a steward, give them your name, and then they would actually input the information into the Nexus 7 systems. And this is at Google I/O. And thousands of people were there enjoying drinks. The drinks were actually amazing. This is the Nexus 7 system that we actually developed. And I have a little bit of a video at the end that will actually explain something. So if the music's coming on. So to do this in such a record amount of time was a feat in itself. I mean, we've never done this ever before. And there was one thing that MIT actually wants to do is actually move it to Las Vegas. I think somebody actually wants to purchase it. So these are some of the iterations for the designs. So this was a web app, not something you could download from the Apple Store. So one of the things with the idea of the future of mobile is that we're always separated from each other. Why can't we congregate in one space and actually enjoy ourselves and see what's actually going on? So this is Google I/O, and as you can see, there's the steward helping people. One of the things at Pentagram, what we're always looking for is incredibly great designers, and even more so, incredibly great developers. And I know that in this part of Europe and also the Middle East, they are amazing developers, and we're always looking out for them. So if you know of any, please let me know. Thank you.